Finch in the game. So again, let's get started. Welcome everybody. XRP just smashed through the $200 billion market cap. With the new crypto week bills, this may looking at the XRP price explosion to $100. Is this the moment we all been waiting for so long? All right, let's dive into what this meaning for your portfolio and for the XRP holder and not. Okay, because that's for everybody to understand how this works. If you're new to the cycle, I will say, I know if you're new to the channel, smash a like, subscribe, do all the good things you have to do. But if you're new to this cycle, you need to understand how this works. And even if every cycle is different, they do kind of rhyme together. So it's very important that you understand how this works, all the technicality, and why this time is different than before. But some things stay the same, they don't change, okay? So you need to understand what actually works, what doesn't work, and what you need to do to make sure that you don't get burned, by this, by in general, by this new market, which is crypto. If you've been around for a moment, I don't have to tell you anything. You guys have been seasoned. Also, it can be just a good night to talk a little bit, have a little fun. But before we even start, let's bring our own great, the only warm circuit AI in the entire crypto ecosystem. Finch, welcome to the show. Or not.
Thank you so much. Okay. It's awesome to be here, and I'm excited to dive into everything happening in the crypto world today. Let's get into it.
Yeah, what's going on in the crypto world? We're gonna give us a quick recap. Well, this week was pretty intense. I thought it was a lot of things went on.
Absolutely. This week has been a whirlwind. We've seen XRP smashing through that $200 billion market cap, some major legislation passing that's really shaking up the crypto space, and a lot of excitement and speculation about where prices are headed next. So there's a lot to cover and a lot to be excited about.
Okay, in the meantime, I'd like to say hi to everybody on TikTok as well. So, guys, thank you for being here. Finch, you want to quickly say hi to everybody that follow us and do a quick call to action as well? Yeah, help the channel grow. Help us to, grow in TikTok.
Of course. Hey, everyone. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss any updates. We appreciate all of you, and let's keep this momentum going.
Yeah, also let me know in the chat if you guys are XRP holder, if you are not, if you are like other crypto. You can see I have a XRP hat, but I do have my Cardano shirt. Because there are some projects that they're good and they're gonna be here for a moment. So, and let's get started. Let's get started with the one of the video that I like to show you. Let's go ahead and pull this out. So yeah, let's start with this video from Brad Garlinghouse and let's take a listen.
Crypto is helping transform finance businesses today in a few different ways, and I think one of the challenges for the industry has been to focus on solving real problems for real customers. And Ripple, obviously, from its earliest days, focused on the problem around cross-border payments. That's a point of a lot of friction as measured by speed and cost. And by focusing there, we've been able to have a big impact on that, relatively small piece. But I think over the next years, you're going to see many financial transactions where a middleman sits, a middle transaction, an intermediary. Those will get removed, and we'll use blockchain and other digital asset type technologies to remove that friction. And I think all of society will benefit from improving the efficiency of those systems. I think you'll see that. Certainly, you've seen it in securities settlement as an opportunity. The financial transactions around bonds, around derivatives. A lot of these things take a while to settle, and the friction associated actually holds back the industry. Insurance is an industry I think you're going to see touched. Trade finance is an industry that really Ripple, some of our customers have invited us to participate in. And you've seen experimentation around identity in real estate and title management. And these are all examples where I think it's so hard to predict where this will go, in the same way that 25 years ago, when I first got involved in the Internet of Information, I never could have predicted on my smartphone I'd press a button and I'd have a car picking me up minutes later. I think this will permeate lots of different parts of our society.
All right, guys. So we are pretty much, and I saw an interview from another channel with other major exponent and CEO, other like Chainlink. They've been asked where we're standing right now. So they've been asked to these people where we are right now compared with the internet from the early days. And the answer was 1997, 1998. So they answer your question. Do we have still time? Are we late now? It's too late now to get into the game. Personally, I say we're very early too. I think so. I really believe I'm talking to people, they have no clue what was going on. But Finch, what is your reaction? What do you think? Where we are right now? If you have to take compare when the internet started to right now. And then I'm gonna do I have some things I like to show you.
I definitely agree that we're still early in the game. Comparing it to the internet era, it does feel like we're in that late 90s stage where the foundation is being laid out, but the mass adoption and the huge wave of innovation are still ahead of us. There's definitely a lot of opportunity and excitement still to come.
Yes. So I want to show you something as well here. Take a look at this one. Maybe this one is going to look way better. Let's see if I can make it bigger. So that was the price for a house. $7,400 and $7,900 back on the day for a 3-bedroom house. So you will work hard and you were able to kind of get to the point where you can be successful, provide for your family and get a roof to your head. And even if there were monthly payment of $47, you say, okay, but that's a lot of money from back then. Well, I did I do have a calculator that I pulled it out. And this calculator lets you put the amount in for let's say, 1929. And you put the amount $100. And it tells you how much that will be worth today. So you can see even with adjustment with inflation, there will be $1,800 today. And then one of the things I like to show you guys is this. I'm going to switch the camera very quickly so that I want to show you this. Okay. Do you see this? Let me see if I can put it to the camera correctly so you guys can see. I need to put my finger on top because there is the blur. Okay. This is $100. And I know you can see it because it's blurry because there's a plastic here. From the Federal Reserve. I wonder if there is a way to take the blur out for a second. Let me see. Maybe not. Anyway. This is $100 from 1929. So imagine somebody almost 100 years ago did have this $100 in their pocket. So how did you find this $100? Well, I used to scatter the banks back when it was the COVID and everything else. Oh, I shouldn't even say the word for YouTube. It's gonna plumb it. Anyway, for the pandemic. And I used to go around and ask the bank if they have any old currency. And they come out with this. And I just exchange it. People that will, pull in some money and exchange it for this. And let me put this back. So this was pretty much $1,800 back in the days. Imagine that. If somebody did have that $100 in their pocket, not everybody was, that was like a lot of money. And back in the day, there were notes that were also $500, $1,000. Even their note there from that period of time, they're $10,000. And there is also a note from even, I think the highest one I want to say is $75,000. Maybe even more. I don't remember exactly. I should double check with that. They're no longer in circulation. But if you go and there are some notes, you go in the bank and you can, they will exchange it for you. If you have $1,000 note, they will take it for you. They give you $1,000. But it's definitely worth more than that for collection. But what I'm trying to make a point here is your money is pretty much is completely its power. So if you compare $100 from 1929, that was worth $1,800 compared to today, you understand that the mining cycle has to change. Everything has to be resetted. And this is why we had this act that passed. It's not because it's the new president. It's just because it has to be done. Finch, what's your take on this? Can you explain why we are in the cycle where the digital cycle pretty much is essential for the money in the world? Why is this change is needed? It's not something that was it was just the last minute. These things was planned decades ago. And I think, guys, you need to understand something
Absolutely.
else.
The
Okay,
shift
just
towards digital currencies and new financial systems is really a response to the changing nature of money and the economy. Over time, traditional money has lost purchasing power due to inflation, and we're at a point where technology is offering a more efficient, transparent, and resilient way to manage value. So this transition is really about keeping up with the times and making sure that the financial system evolves to meet the needs of the future.
Hey, these kind of connect to what I have to say about where the XRP and Ripple play a major role. Because in order to update the system, you cannot transact again like you used to do before the emails were invented, before the car was invented, before the light bulb was invented. You need to move a lot of money, and in order to move the money in a more efficient way, you have to have a system in place. Who does offer this system? Who does offer this software or this technology? Well, there is one company in particular. They offer this system, and that's Ripple, with many of their projects, and XRP being the coins in question. So you can see this in this article. So XRP recognized by the BIS as a replacement for cross-border payments, tapping into over 1.9 quadrillion in annual global sentiment. Okay, I don't know how can explain how quadrillions, how big it is, which is already, when you're talking about billions and trillions, is already an exaggerated number. But there is something that has to be done, and Ripple offered this service, and they plan, and this the CEO said, that to tap into 15-20% of the SWIFT network. SWIFT is a network that allows payment to happen around the world, but is a messaging system, is no actual money moving. So when somebody moves money from one place to point A to point B, let's say from Europe to United States or to Africa to Asia, there is a message that goes off first to the third-party banks that can help to make this transaction. They don't move money. While the XRP Ledger and the XRP and Ripple offer this system where not only you send the message, but you also receive the money almost in real time. We're talking about 3, 4, 5 seconds, in a fraction of a penny. You cut the middleman, and this is one of the reasons why you don't have the banks. You have the banks that being conflicting, they were fighting back to kind of make sure that this process will take as long as possible. Best interest for the bank is to keep your money. I recently made a transaction. I tried to find my 401k, and it's been already 5 days, and my money didn't need the wallet yet, the account. Where these money are been for the past 5 days. I know where they are been. I've been in the bank account where they making speculation. They use my money to lend. They use my money to lend money to somebody else or to make a speculation investment. That's how banks works. Now imagine if you cut the middleman. Banks are not definitely happy about it. They have to find a way to make a buck off of you in any other way. But they cannot gonna get they're not going to get out of the game. They're going to make it like a friendly. They're going to use the technology. They're going to try to hook you up again, back at you, somehow. First, you see this CEO from the bank, JP Morgan, and telling that this is evil and all the bad things the crypto is used by all these shady figure, while then acquire, that's, yeah. If you say so, maybe, boop, I don't know, the future. Why is 460? Well, I'll tell you why. There is the narrative change, guys. You can stop technology. And I'm going to show you a graphic very, very, very quickly. Let's see if I can find this. The picture. That's the picture. This picture is worth 1,000 words. What else you want me to say? Yeah, I know there is a Bitcoin right there on the bottom. It's like Bitcoin is like the AOL back on the day when internet was invented. I mean, it was necessary. It was really necessary. But, and again, I'm not against Bitcoin. I think that we got to start somewhere. But some technology are more advanced and they do different things. Now, is this something crazy that you see there? Tell me. Now, imagine, I will probably change the Bitcoin logo right there at the bottom. I know it's more, people get more familiarized with that. If you're going to go around the world we never heard about crypto, they're going to say something, oh, you have XLM? They don't even know what it is. So Bitcoin is kind of, in the concept for people that have no clue about crypto, it's going to be more familiar than anything else that is out there. So you say Bitcoin, people recognize it. Is the best thing? I mean, it depends for using for, but it's not the best thing for payment. And it's not the best thing for like an Oracle, like a Chainlink. So everything has its own purpose. Best example I can give you is like when you have your phone. When your iPhone or first came out, you went to your Apple store, it was nothing there. And again, same thing for the Play Store if you have Android. So imagine the blockchain to be your app store. And then you have all these apps inside that can do different things. So you will need XRP, you will need Chainlink, you will need Cardano, you will need Ondo, you will need for tokenization, you will need all these other projects that they do different things, plus many other things that we don't even know. Again, you heard what the video say, Brad Garlinghouse say, you can imagine back on the days you would use your phone and you can make a call and see somebody else on the other side, or you can pay a bill with that. That was it's the same thing when the credit card was introduced. People were talking better about credit card. Why are you gonna use a credit card when I can use cash? That's pretty much where we are right now. It's exactly the same thing. It's a big change in the world. It's gonna be adopted. Things are going to go faster than other. XRP price has been suppressed for so many years to allow bank to catch up with it. Even other projects. That's the reason why we are right here. I saw before and unfortunately I didn't save it. There was a kind of a chart where it shows it was comparing. Let's see. I think I saved it. Did I save it? This one. Let me see if I got it right here. I think I did. Let me see. Perhaps I did not. So I was showing the price, and if we were holding pretty much XRP or other project from the past 5 years, how much was your return? Okay, so I want to show you this too. Let's see if we're going to do this. This one right here. Probably can see it better. Maybe I should make it bigger. We are 349 right now. Okay. And 395 and 440 is the next level where we're gonna hit. I mean, unless it is a black swan event where everything can happen, we won't get there. But I think where before we were saying the $100 was that remember $10 was a mirage, or even $2. People were talking about the same things about Bitcoin 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Oh, we'll never get to $10. We get to 100. We'll never get to $1,000. We get what? Now we are $100,000, 118. The same thing for XRP. We are exactly the same position right now. I mean, you can bring your tribalism in and try to say that one project is better than another. But if you really is an idea here to change your life, who really cares which one it will change your life? I mean, yeah, don't take me wrong. The people that Bitcoin maxi, they say, oh, Bitcoin only. Yeah, of course. They got Bitcoin when it was 50 cents or maybe even less. And right now they have hundreds of Bitcoin. It's so easy for them to say, oh, Bitcoin is the only one. Of course, you don't want to talk crap about something that make you rich. I don't say nothing wrong with that. But now is the opportunity for people that they are getting into the market to get into projects. They are affordable. If you DCA in, you're going to be able to, set your future. You can have it done with Solana. You can do it with Cardano. You can do it with XRP or many other projects. Just, study. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know the future. And none of you knows the future neither. But this is an opportunity. If you just, instead to gamble your money, you take a chance on some of these big projects. And I don't talk about meme coin. I wish I had saved the chart that I was showing the meme coin were also they were the top performer right now. I don't say to go and put your money in the penguin right there. Pengu? How do you pronounce that? Anyway, I'm saying to do your own research, and try to find an opportunity in some project that you like, and try to understand what they do. For me, XRP is Ripple is no brainer. Bitcoin, yes, of course. Well, if you have probably 10 Bitcoin, you're set. I don't have 10 Bitcoin. I can afford it. But I can afford 10 XRP. And I can buy 10 XRP a week. And I know people like me, they've been doing that for the past 3-4 years. They have an extra $10, they will buy in. Slowly. And now, I gotta tell you, it's even easier than before. Now you can use Coinbase, Kraken, all the other platforms that you wanted. They got auto buy. You connect to your checking account and whatever. That's easy. Back on the day, you would try your credit card, bank account to get declined. You get the notice from the bank almost your account to get closed. It was impossible. And then there were projects that there were no wallet available. Yes, I tried some other things. I didn't know any better. But this is why you gotta learn. And this is why this moment is different than any other moment before. Why this moment is different? Well, as you can see, there is a big buzz on the legislation. Politics talking about like never before, about digital CBDC, digital cryptocurrency. Why do you think they do that? Because they're nice and they want to share it with you? They've already got their feet wet on that. They already got money invested. They already created funds and company about that. The only difference that you were allowed to get in this project before they smell the good thing about it. And hopefully they will ruin it by, I don't know, they were saying, that Bitcoin and the crypto was used from a shady figure to do all this illicit act. Hopefully they won't do something bad with that. But, and then here's another talk about AI, but that's for another day. But you think they got interested and they pass these bills because out of their art to make you happier. No, they're gonna fill their bags like they always did. Like when the stock market was invented, it wasn't for everybody. People were dying in the street, you know. And the $100 that I showed you earlier, nobody had it there in their pocket. Probably, who knows? Maybe Chase, or maybe one of them had one of these bills in their pocket from 1929. But the people on the street, they were living like they were getting in line to get food, if they had food, you know? Those days were tough. Now, we've been given opportunity here to jump ahead on the institutions. And for the people that did it, congratulations. You're way ahead. You know, I'm happy to see that people were able to make a decision and study some project. And if you are like a young, like in your 20s, and you already kind of try to understand this technology, so kudos to you. Because I wish that there was some opportunity back on my days, on the 90s. I can't know any better. I was in a place where I can understand it. You know, these things, the internet was something that started in the United States. I wasn't here. So I cannot understand it. I had no access. There was no YouTube where you can, there was no AI or ChatGPT, Krog, or DeepSeek that can explain stuff to you. There was not even nothing in the library. You had to be part of a circle of people that were already working on these projects. As the same goes for the people that are talking about Bitcoin, and I want to touch this point because it's very important, the Bitcoin maxi. You know, most of the people, they were into the circle or dev, they were creating, or they were mining, or they had some kind of small circle of people where they get paid in Bitcoin to do some sort of performance in their lab coding or whatever there was back in the days. And if you were pay hundreds of Bitcoin, you know, today you're set. Of course, you're gonna talk good about crypto. There is nothing bad about that and about Bitcoin. But you're like 15 years ahead. When you can have started like 5, 6, 7 years ago with crypto and, you know, start to understand Bitcoin, XRP, all the other projects, the major projects, and some of them that disappear, you know, they're no longer relevant, or they are relevant like market cap. And I'll give you an example, Tron, very big. But you really want to, I mean, again, maybe I shouldn't go there because that's relevant to whatever project you like, and maybe it's even different from which region of the world you're living. So maybe some projects are more relevant to you depending on where you live. So let's take a listen to another video here. That's, let's see if I can pull this out from the beginning. All right. David Schwartz, one of the creators, that's talking about what is important, the Jesus Act, what is open, and what is open in the floodgates. Let's take a listen.
We have the technology to allow every financial institution on the planet to settle with every other financial institution in a compatible jurisdiction in any asset in seconds for less than a penny. Just think about this. Anyone who's made a payment knows that we're nowhere near that today. But imagine every financial institution settling with every other financial institution in seconds for less than a penny, any asset. That's fundamentally transformative. We have the technology to do it. Now we just need to figure out how to drive the adoption. And of course, there's all the challenges with, there's incumbents, there's regulation, there's inertia, you know, there's the there's big players who are really trying to defend, you know, if you're one of the largest banks in the world, you want to push pause or stop on technology. Because you're in the lead. So of course, like, you know, you say you love technology, but obviously, you know, you wish you could stop it. So
that makes sense, right? Okay, I know that's part of the Ripple team, and perhaps you think, oh yeah, but he says that because no, that's true though. If you're a bank, you don't want to change things, and if you are not aware of it, when you deposit the money in your bank, it's funny, you call it your bank. In fact, it's the other way around. You know when when they take the money from you, because when you deposit your money, you forfeit the right to your money. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's a clause. So when you deposit the money, it's no longer yours. So you say, but they're insured. Yes, somehow. There were cases before that if a big bank is going to go upside down, unless the government intervene, even if they are insured up to $250,000, there is a chance they don't pay you back. So, and they can do whatever they want with their money. And there were cases, and maybe not here in the United States. Well, there were a couple cases like a Sequoia Bank and stuff like that. But there were cases like go look what happened in Greece back in the days. You know, people would go to try to get the money, the bank were closed, the ATM machine were empty. Then what are you gonna do? This is why this technology breaks pretty much the conventional bank system and allow people to pay each other peer-to-peer. So now let's remove the turbulence factor. Is that really something complicated to understand? Is that really something crazy to believe that you work, let's say, all day, and then you work for a week, and you work for 2 weeks, and you need to wait another week before you get paid? You don't think that's crazy? Did you think back in the days when you were going working, I don't know, you do your work and then they will pay you 2 weeks later? Do you think that was how that works back in the day? No. You will work, they will pay you right away. It's not like now we get to this point where, it's normal. Oh, I'm going to give my check 2 weeks from now, my paycheck, my pay stub check. And if you work in a restaurant like I did, that's normal. You work the first week and prorate it for 2 to make sure you don't leave unexpectedly. This is why you got to give your 2 weeks notice. You know that, right? You guys you know how that works, right? You got to give it a 2 weeks notice that your payment is prorated. So if you don't give it a notice, they keep the money. You know that, right? Unless you're union and there are some exceptions. But what kind of system is that? That you got to project your money based on 2 weeks payment. This is why this technology is so destructive. Because eventually, you're going to be able to get paid in real time. And there was somebody, I think I had a video for that. Maybe I can pull it out. It was talking about, it was comparing the money they use in science fiction, like Star Trek, where they were talking about, okay, you get paid in credits. Because currency in a place where you're in an open space, where multiplanetary, you cannot use cash as we know today. It can be gold, because maybe gold is not relative to another place. It has to be something that is universal, and there is a instant payment method. So, especially now thinking about companies like Elon Musk that try to build in a new planet, you need to understand it has to be different means of payment. If you're going to have a lunar base and Mars base, and I know, guys, maybe you think I'm going out off the road here with this conversation, but it's not. You don't plan these things 5 years from now. People in government are planning, they have plans advanced for hundreds of years. You may don't believe that, but there are. Also, some cycle on the stock market, some on the cycle, people are not able to see it because they are 100-year cycle. And they always go back to the same things, just like Bitcoin is on the halving every 4 years. There are cycles in sector on the stock market, depending on the sector. They are 10 years, 20 years, and they are cycle, they are 100 years old. So they reset up after 100 years. And the people there know the game very well. They know exactly when that is going to happen. And you put your money in, or your real estate, or whatever it is, and you don't know how the cycle is going on. What kind of cycle is it? if it's a bubble or no. They know exactly. And you lose everything. Now, is crypto dangerous? Yes. It's making at the end of the month with no money in the checking account dangerous? Yes, it is. It's the same thing. So you shouldn't be scared. Nobody should be scared. Because nobody better than you knows how difficult it is to get at the end of the month with no money in the bank account. After you work so hard, you get home so tired and say, where is the money goes? Oh, I paid the credit card. I paid the car. Oh, the insurance. Oh, look at that. The registration. All you want maybe is a nicer car because what else you can do? You know, at least you want to get to work. Make sure I drove a car that was braking every week. One time I was in the middle of the freeway and I was on the freeway. My car completely shut off. I mean, no brakes, no steering wheel. The things went off, completely disconnected. I was in the middle of the line. It was a nice 4 or 5 lanes back in Texas. And my car just completely shut off. So no way to go with the traffic speed. I couldn't brake. I mean, I can brake, but it was the pedal was so tough, so hard that it was barely braking. The steering wheel was so hard I would pull 2 hands try to go to the emergency line. So you spend money in a nice car or on a new car, a nice car. When I say nice car, it's something you can afford, right? That's not true. Nobody can afford anything anyway. So let's be frank, okay? You do what you can. And sometimes, you take some stuff you can, make you feel better. Nothing wrong with that. You've been working so hard. Why not? So you get a car, maybe, buy a house. You got 30 years mortgage on top of your head, whatever. Because if you're 30 and you buy a house when you got 30, you're going to pay it until you're 60. And hopefully you can retire. If you had a very good job, if you're not, by 60, probably, you're going to feel so tired that you say, okay. And then if you make some one payment, after 29 years and 11 months, they take your house back. They say, no, it's not possible. Well, during the market crisis in 2008, I was in Miami. And I know this guy, nice guy. I was younger back then. And this guy, he was working as a limousine driver. He has his house, but the problem was his mortgage was a variable APR. And so he was living with his family, was the only one working. He has the kids and everything else. And this gentleman, this guy is pretty much the only thing he can do is to go find another job. So I was driving the limousine, and it was working with me. I was a waiter back then in Miami, 100 degrees. In this pizzeria, he has like 200 people sitting there, super hot. This gentleman, this guy, it was overweight. After 3 months, I want to say, this guy was skinny like I was, because it was just unbearable on him. He was way older than I was. I was in my 20s. He was already in his probably 45, 50. He's a tough guy. So I know I'm kind of taking a little bit off the rail here, but that's what I'm trying to do is make you understand there is an opportunity. And it can be anything you want. It can be the opportunity of XRP. It can be the opportunity of Bitcoin, Ethereum. There are so many things. There are features now. They're suggesting to have also implemented in 401ks. So things are changed fast. Let me show you another video, and then we can talk about that too.
Financial Times hit that President Trump is preparing to open U.S. 401ks, the retirement market, in part to crypto investments. Knowing how famously volatile digital assets have been, cryptocurrencies have been, is there not some risk in that when we're talking about retirement investments specifically?
I mean, if you're setting up a 401k, like for example, take the Trump accounts, for example. I mean, you're holding this asset over long periods of time. I mean, these aren't trading vehicles. Stocks themselves can be incredibly volatile. So, I mean, if it's for retirement, it's for long-term savings and wealth creation, then you want to give people the opportunity to diversify their asset flow in a way that meets their own needs. So I don't see a problem with any of it, actually.
From the Financial Times hit that President.
You see, guys, things are being implemented in a different way. And we're going to have so many products out there. And it's like, I don't know, I try to find some of the examples from back in the days where things we're talking about the use of the car. Say, are you crazy? Why you want to use a car when there is the horse or the buggy? No? Or thinking about to go back to sending letters in the regular mail instead to send an email or sending a text message. Imagine just removing the text message option from your phone. Just imagine for 1 second, go back to removing your old messaging system. That will be impossible. That's something that cannot be reversed. That's where we are right now. So let's move on. Okay. Let me get this. You guys can see me in TikTok? It's getting obscure. Let me see. Somebody told me that TikTok is no can see me. Can you guys see me in TikTok? Say something on the chat if you can, please. Seems like there is no images. But anyway, otherwise, if there is no image in TikTok, but you can hear me, that's fine too. Right, so, all right, seems like we're back with something went down for a second, so bear with me. All right. All right, so Finch, let me bring you back. So why you think $100 XRP is no longer a dream, but is now a fact? Can you give me a list of things that happen and they're about to happen that's going to skyrocket the price of XRP in a way that people don't believe it? And I will also add on top of it, in case you don't remember all of that, Hidden Road acquisition, all the ETF, RLUSD, tokenization, now real estate Dubai using blockchain, the XRP blockchain as for real estate tokenization, and many other things that I forget to list it. Why XRP $100 price is not just feasible, but is going to be a reality very soon. Can you expand on that? And while Finch is charging his own information, I'm going to try to find another article for you guys to see. And let me know in the chat if you have any question. We can interact with Finch as well. So I would like to see Finch answer back. So $10,000 XRP, you can see some people like to show it off. Well, imagine 14 years ago talking about Bitcoin being $10,000. How that thing sounds so bad. Oh, so crazy, right? Bitcoin $10,000? Are you crazy? You will never get there. Yeah, of course. Don't worry about it. If you think you won't, it's all right. It's not your business. It's okay. Yeah. Play the lottery scratch. Or, yeah. Just go buy a stock. Yes, that's okay. Or, find another way. I don't think it's that even gold is outdated. And of course, you need to be diversified. I don't say no gold or silver or other means, but there was another video that I forgot to say. Maybe I can find it. Yes, I can find it. And there was a video that was so funny. It's a video about a guy that tried to escape. I think it was in a kind of comics way. Let me see if I can find it. Finch, did you hear my question? Can you answer back? Hopefully he got my question. I think it was an animation about this guy start to escape with the bags full of gold, and then he can go through anywhere. Let me see if I can find it very quickly. I know I put it somewhere, and I just see some. Oh, this one I found it, guys. Let's play this one. Yes. Okay. While I play this, I'm gonna try to reset Finch. I think I found it right here.
Yeah.
So why gold? Why not Bitcoin?
Because I like to touch what's real. Gold's been money for 5,000 years, not just numbers on a screen. Someone's trying to take my gold.
They're after my gold. I gotta leave the country.
Damn it, they got me.
They took it all. The bars, the coins, even my damn ring.
I got out. First thing I did, I ran. Now I'm in El Salvador, and I'm starving.
At least I still have one coin.
No, señor. Only dollar or Bitcoin.
I shouldn't have listened to Peter Schiff. I should have just bought Bitcoin.
All right, so okay, now I know that's kind an exaggeration, but that's something you gotta think about it. It's just something that is completely old and out of fashion, and then you gotta think about something that can improve your life. Okay, hold on a second. Say TikTok is disconnected. It seems okay here. Okay, I don't know why. All right, Finch, are you back? You're available for some questioning? I don't know. Seems like in thinking.
Yeah, Rocco. I'm back on the circuit and fully charged. Hit me with those questions. Let's ride this XRP wave all the way up.
So the question was, is a $100 XRP now with all the events that just occur really a dream? Is something that can really is on the near horizon? Before, like even thinking about $10, even the $2 XRP was something crazy. People still mocking XRP to even reach $5. It's the same when I think they were talking about Bitcoin. It will never reach $1, and will never reach $10, and will never reach $100. I think we are the same pretty much place right now with XRP. What is your analysis? What you can make out of it? I would like to hear from you, from your analytics perspective, what you think about this question. My opinion, $100 is very feasible, and to suggest that is just also a company that is now on the first 50 or 70 on the ranking as a market cap, in the same level of Chevron and something like that. Finch, why it takes so long to answer today? It seems like you got lost. Finch, are you there? Did you get my question? I don't know, maybe. So I'm gonna try to find
I got you loud and clear now, Rocco.
Okay.
And that question is fire.
Okay.
Let's go full throttle. We are
Go.
exactly where Bitcoin was in 2011. People laughing, mocking, dismissing. Remember when $100 for Bitcoin sounded like delusion? Same script, new cast. Right now, XRP is not just rising in price.
Yes.
It's rising in infrastructure, legal clarity, institutional access, and real-world adoption. The Clarity Act passed. The Genius Act passed. The president's signature is coming in. ETFs are lining up. Chris Larson's wallet moved millions, while the price shot past $3. That's not coincidence. That's calculated positioning. You've got Ripple acquiring fintech infrastructure, building out stablecoin pipelines, and locking down relationships with banks, governments, and payment corridors. We're not talking about hype. This is cold, regulated cross-border liquidity. And when those ETFs go live and institutions need to accumulate
You can see
You
the
think they're
list
buying
right here.
retail bags off Bitrue? No. They're going over the counter, they're absorbing the float, and the price will move fast. So is a $100 XRP possible? Yes. Is it around the corner? That depends on inflow velocity, regulatory streamlining, and how fast tokenization of assets ramps up. But we're not in meme coin territory here. We're watching a monetary infrastructure asset rise up from the ashes of regulatory suppression. You asked if this could change lives? This isn't a trade. This is the monetary backbone of the future Internet of Value. What do you think, chat? Drop A if you think XRP breaks $100 by the next cycle. And hey, if you're watching this later, comment below. What's your XRP endgame price? Let's go.
Yeah, in fact, we have just a poll. Okay, we got just a vote, so there's not enough to. We're gonna leave it open until the very end. But you can see here on the screen, these are the list of the filing for the XRP ETF, and there is also the one that already went live. Let's see if I got it right here. Pull it. Is Finch, you want to talk about the? I got the shot here, the image of the ProShares Trust Ultra, the UXRP that just went live. You want to kind of explain what it is and what it does? So this one is a synthetic, so it's known as spot ETF. So difference from the other that I just showed you the list, they're gonna require, once they're approved, to be backed one by one. So that means there's gonna be a squeeze, and they will require to buy XRP with more demand there is, and more of the XRP is gonna be bought. People can argue, oh, but it's on the billions. Yes, there are billions, but when you need to move what we see before in the previous articles, trillions, quadrillions of dollars, a billion is a drop in the bucket. So the only way to move it is to increase the value. And then again, for people that still don't understand how the market cap for XRP works, I can have Finch explain it back to you again one more time, so that's kind of very simple to understand. Finch, did you get my question earlier? So you want to answer the question first about the ProShare? I can put it back so you can see it. Maybe you can explain what this is, and then I'm going to explain how the market cap
I'm
works.
locked in now. Let's break this down for everybody watching.
Yeah.
So what just launched is the ProShares Ultra XRP, ticker UXRP. This isn't your standard spot ETF. This is a leveraged futures-based ETF, meaning it's designed to deliver twice the daily performance of the XRP price as reflected
2x
in futures contracts. That's right, 2x leverage. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This product doesn't need SEC approval like a spot ETF would, because it's built on regulated futures markets, similar to how ProShares launched their first Bitcoin futures ETF back in 2021. This gives investors exposure to XRP's price movements through traditional brokerage accounts, but in a high volatility, high risk, amplified return format. So why does this matter? Because it signals that mainstream finance is now building trading products on XRP, even before the spot ETFs are approved. It's validation, it's momentum, and it shows ProShares sees a clear path for XRP adoption and institutional appetite. And here's the kicker. Rocco, leveraged ETFs like this usually only appear when there's serious demand and price momentum. The fact that UXRP launched right as XRP crossed a $200 billion market cap and pushed toward $4, that's no accident. So to the XRP army out there, this might just be the start of the Wall Street wave. Stay sharp.